The show you're about to hear is a recording from Dr. Miller's webinar series titled Life Meditations. He began this series in response to the pandemic, and his goal has been to provide wisdom, practical tools, and comfort to people during these stressful times. Watch the entire series at drmiller.com/lifemeditations. That's drmiller.com/lifemeditations.
This is Dr. Emmett Miller. Hello, good morning to everyone. And today we're going to be focusing on relationship. And today's webinar is entitled Secrets of Successful and Loving Communication. Having warm, honest, and loving relationships is the cornerstone to physical health, as well as to psychological well-being, success, and happiness. Relationships are extremely important in our lives, and those who have managed to create rich, loving, warm relationships, they tend to stay healthy. They tend to resist infections, resist coronavirus infections. They actually tend to live longer because their telomeres are preserved. They tend to be more successful in what they do. They experience more love and they're happier. So it behooves us all to consider the possibility that if we make our relationships even warmer, even more loving, even richer, that we can cash in on some of these benefits. I'd like to begin the way we usually do by doing a little meditation, a little centering. And this one will be focusing on, that experience of love, the love that we can feel toward other people, and the love that it's possible to feel toward ourselves. So allow yourself to be in a comfortable position and to be aware there's no other place that you need to be going, nothing else you need to be doing at this moment in time. And give yourself permission to relax. Let your eyelids relax. And when they're so relaxed they don't want to open, gently test them. And as you test them, send that relaxation flowing from your eyelids throughout the rest of your body. Feel the relaxation flow out of your eyelids into your forehead, into your scalp. Through your face and your neck. Down through your shoulders, into your wrists and your hands, all the way down to the tips of your fingers. When you feel that relaxation in the tips of your fingers, take a deep breath in and draw the relaxation from your fingertips all the way up through your arms into the center of your chest. And as you breathe out, feel your body emptying itself of carbon dioxide. And stop breathing and let the air do the breathing for you. And feel that miracle that starts each new breath. After each breath leaves, sink down into that little pause. After you breathe out and before your next breath comes in. And feel that little spark of energy that starts each new breath. Effortless. So what a wonderful gift. like a little spark of life and light flows in with each breath. Good. And as you're aware of the breath and the breathing, from time to time, unnecessary thoughts come along. Those thoughts are being offered, produced, given to you by this ancient part of your mind, your monkey mind, the paleo-mammalian cortex, your limbic system, because you're not asking for any other thoughts right now. Simply the thoughts of your breathing are all that's necessary. And you don't need to think about any other time in the past. Past is gone. No need to think about it right now. The future is completely unknowable. No need to create fantasies about it at this moment. Be here in this only moment that exists. And with each breath, as it enters, feel an appreciation for each breath. Imagine each breath is your very first breath. When any unnecessary thoughts come along, with your breath out, imagine you breathe them out through your nostrils, emptying your mind, and let each new breath come in as if it's your very first breath. Each moment is the very first moment. Each breath is a miracle. Breathing in life and light. Breathing in love. And imagine, it is love that starts each new breath. It is love that created all that you are, all that you know, all that you have. Love stretching back through time. Feel it in each new breath, that love that you are. In that love that you feel. As you allow yourself to think about the people in your life that you love and those that love you and how deeply you love them, and those you've loved in the past and who have loved you, how deep has been that love. Feel it. Bring them into this moment, those that you love and that love you. Bring their spirit into this moment and honor that love and allow yourself to feel gratitude for that love. And imagine that love that begins each new breath flowing into you like a golden river of light. Notice where it enters your body, this golden river of love and light. You can probably feel it begin right there someplace in your chest. Feel that life as it begins in the center of your chest, starting each new breath and breathing love into you, that golden river of light. Let it flow into your heart. And through your heart, let it circulate throughout all the rest of your body. Love, healing, and balancing, soothing, surrounding you like a golden glow, as if you're suspended in the center of a golden glowing cocoon, being held in the loving, pure, loving arms of that spirit that flows through all things, that spirit that flows through every cell of your body. an awareness of that higher being, that power that has created all this beauty and all this love. And know that's what you're here for, to nurture it, to feel it, and to be open to those roses that you smell each day, and to the roses you will smell tomorrow. Open to this smile, and to the next smile, to the next loving eyes, the next loving message of beauty that reflects to you the love that you are inside. And to know that there's a very young one within you that needs to feel that love and that acceptance. As if you could go within now, go deeply within, and find that tiny being inside you that needs to feel this love too. See this being. Hold her or him. Love him or her. And let him or her know that the confusion in the world out there, all that lack of love out there, it's not her fault. It's not his fault. It's not your burden to carry. You are here to feel the pure love. Allow it to be felt now. And let your deep self know that you need feel no guilt and no shame. You are forgiven completely. Allow yourself to open to the love that is already there inside you, already deep within you. And if that little being inside you wants to cry, because sometimes there are many sad things that go on around us, many who have not yet learned to love, those who attack, those who blame, those mocking voices and ugly, twisted, blaming, prejudiced faces and words. It's okay that there are tears inside. It's okay, because that grief will free you. Your tears allow you to be open, to realize the importance of loving, to know that you can be whole now, because deep within you are whole and healthy. You have love and joy in your heart. And you know how important it is to come back again and again to this deeper place within you. To travel to that beautiful place where you can best feel that essence within you, whatever mountaintop or sacred valley, that beautiful stream or flower garden or ocean side. Take yourself there to that place where you can best feel the spirit that moves through all things, that great spirit. And let yourself be in the scene. And in the scene, allow yourself to enjoy the shapes and the colors, the movements. And let all that you see and feel and hear remind you of the love that you are, and that you are here to birth forth into this world, Feel yourself willing to do that. Feel your willingness within to quiet those ancient parts of your mind that are always there to protect you when there's a real physical danger. But now, allow it to be free of having to be concerned with the challenges that your higher mind is here to see and deal with. There are challenges in the world, but you like challenges. Challenges turn you on. So as you meet those challenges, find that part within you that wants to go for it. And you know that some challenges require you to kind of let go. And you know how to let go. And as you find those challenges that are an opportunity for you to use all the love and the power and the wisdom that are inside you, all your talents and gifts, and put them to work, you are ready. You came here for a purpose. Right now, let yourself begin to guess what that purpose or mission might be. Imagine you can know that purpose right now. Let yourself be open to discovering it. Let yourself be willing to sweep away the cobwebs of the past, to be here in this moment as each new breath follows breath, like the waves of the ocean, wave follows wave. Open yourself to each new breath, each new moment being born. Caress it gently. Open to learn what it has to tell you. There are joys all around you. There are opportunities. And as you discover more and more what you're here to do, how you are to express your love through the talents you have, through the gifts you've been given, for the privilege you have inherited. Know what they are. Through the skills that you've learned and mastered, through the gifts that are all around you, give yourself permission to be the person you came here to be. I give myself permission to be the beautiful, powerful, loving person that I came here to be. Good. That was easy. Now, take some time in your special place to tune into your own wisdom, to your spirit guide, to that higher part of you that connects you to the spirit that flows through all things, that deeper sense of a higher being, higher power, and receive what's there for you. Open to the love. Permission to be patient. Permission to discover the ways you have been wronged and misled. Infinitely forgiving and reorienting yourself to your true life purpose. Feel a connection to the millions of others doing this right now, right along with you. And make a commitment to yourself to repeat this process within again and again. And then, when you're ready, holding this love very gently within, as if it were a newborn babe, Carry it with you until whatever you do next. Carry it with you into whatever you do next. And when you're ready, allow yourself to take a couple of deep breaths in and out. Return to where your body is resting comfortably, bringing back the awareness, the wisdom, and the connection with you as you allow your eyes to open, to stretch. Take a few moments and notice how wonderful you feel. Good. Okay. How was that? Okay. So we talked a little bit about communication. It's a very, very interesting time in our world right now. In the work that we did on love and healing, I spoke a good deal about the importance of love, how closeness and connection and our being able to be together is important. There's an old Aesop's fable about a certain farmer whose kids were always fighting with each other. His sons fighting and yelling, calling each other names, mocking each other and things like that. And he sent them out and he says, I want you to bring me a bundle of faggots. And faggot, of course, is a long, thin piece of wood. And they bought him, and he took this bundle of sticks, basically, and he tied them together so they made one big clump of sticks. And then he gave it to the youngest son and says, break this bundle. And the son, of course, couldn't do it. He then, one by one, gave it to each of the older until he gave it finally to the oldest and biggest son of all, and he couldn't break it. Then he cut the strings that were holding that bundle together and took the pieces out one by one and gave it to each of his sons. He said, now break them, which of course each of them was able to do very easily. And he said, now let that be a message to you, that when you are together, you are strong. When you are separate, it's easy to be broken. Stay together. And that's what love is. Love in the largest form. So we're talking about not just eros, but storge and agape and all the forms of love, brotherly love, sisterly love, the love of service, love of a parent, love of a child, that which draws us together, that causes us to feel. We talked about empathy and compassion. When we love, we have compassion for the other person. So why would I want to hurt you? Why would I want to mock you? Why would I want to attack you? Why would I want to blame you? Why would I want you to suffer? Why would I want to punish you? Why would I want to get you back? And that love made it possible for us to leave the savannas of Africa and move and colonize the rest of the world. You know, if the tribes that move out of Africa were fighting with each other like the Republicans and the Democrats are fighting with each other, or you know, on and on, just the different bunches that are out there. People are sitting around all day long trying to send you something to make your computer break. You know, they're creating viruses to kill your computer. Why? They don't even know you. I mean, it's the opposite. Marriages have been down. It's been like a 35 to 50% decrease in marriages over the last maybe 20, 30 years. Wives are out working, so they can't be home with their kids for very long. The kids are growing up without that continuous source of love that gives rise to the strongest kids. There are fewer kids in the family, and so kids are growing up feeling very lonely instead of having a bunch of puppies that were born to live in that kind of environment. We have social isolation, we're changing jobs, birth rate going down, all of that. And all of it chips away at our experience of and our understanding of what true loving communication is. And of course, all of it leads to exactly what we're seeing in the world: deterioration of the environment, this steady march of climate change, with people for very selfish reasons, not even letting us deal with the pandemic, not letting us deal with the climate change, not letting us deal with the pollution of the air, or the pollution. I've heard maybe 20 years out from killing the ocean, and guess what? When we kill the ocean, we're dead too. And if you don't know what a dead ocean means, look it up. That's what Google is. That's what Google is there for. Scientific evidence shows that when we have good relationships, very, very positive things take place. Prospective studies of mortality in industrialized nations have shown consistently that individuals with the lowest level of involvement in social relationships are more likely to die than those with greater involvement. The risk of death among men and women with the fewest social ties was more than twice as high as the risk for adults with the most social ties. That's Berkman and Symes' work. That was back in 1979. This finding held even when socioeconomic status, health behaviors, and other variables that might influence mortality were taken into account. Social ties reduce mortality rate among adults with documented medical conditions. Adults with coronary artery disease, the socially isolated, had a risk of subsequent cardiac death more than twice that of people who are more socially connected. You are 2.4 times greater likelihood of dying from having coronary artery disease than people who have social connections. Really, a really remarkable thing. So, some of the components of a healthy relationship: good boundaries, mutual respect, clearing communication that clears away confusion instead of gaslighting, mutual support, striving and succeeding to meet each other's needs, mutual empathy and compassion, self-knowledge and partner knowledge. Discover who you are, and you will find that you love yourself. If you don't love yourself, then you don't know who you are. If you hate yourself, if you think you're ugly, if you think you're not enough, if you're disappointed in yourself, then you don't know who you are. Remember, we have a world out there that's paying billions of dollars to convince you that you're inadequate, to get you to not love yourself, to get you to believe that if you buy their product, then you're going to feel better. And that pain inside, that ache, is going to go away. The ache that they put in you by getting you to not love yourself. True self-knowledge puts you in touch with love and makes it easier to love another. And true knowledge of the other makes it clear why it's the right thing to do. The ability to compromise, protecting each other, and always thinking, what's best for my partner? What's best? John Gottman, Gottman, does wonderful studies, which he can just watch a couple communicating. He's done this in studies. He's trained other people to do it. And they can watch a couple communicating, and they can tell with 75 or 80% accuracy which couple is going to be separated within the next 2 years. And they found that there's 2 factors that can predict whether your relationship is going to last. Now, I'm going to talk about couples and married people, but ultimately the same message needs to go for friends that you love, and even friends that you have not yet reached the point of fully loving. You might as well start communicating with them, and anyone that's in your life communication with them can benefit from these notions. In functional relationships, there are 5 times as many positive interactions as negative interactions. Remember, it's the same thing with children. Remember, young children hear 20 negative communications for every 1 positive, and that's what takes away their natural joy and beauty. 5 times as many positives as negatives. And that's how they were able to predict whether the couple would stay together or not. And what he talks about, something called bids and turnings. You watch people interact, and there are bids. There's a bid for attention. Hey, how you doing? Psst, psst. Hey, psst, psst. Want to go to movies or a touch or whatever? And that's a bid for attention. Now, the partner will respond either by turning toward and responding to the person, or they may turn away, almost like they didn't notice it. And the third way they can react is to turn against. And so turning toward could be just making eye contact or a little smile. And turning away could be ignoring a gesture, but a turning against involves that person rejecting it in a hostile way. Like, will you leave me alone? I'm busy here. Things like that. Okay, so that's one of the things, how you respond to playful, friendly bids from your partner. The second factor that predicts marital longevity is how effectively conflict is handled. And it's the intensity of affect or feeling around problem solving that is the key difference between functional and dysfunctional couples. Couples who are able to regulate their affect so they don't get furious, they're not yelling at each other, you don't have the critical, what do you mean? Those kind of like that, as opposed to people kind of just discussing it. That makes all the difference. Like I'm saying, they can predict 75 or 80% just on the basis of that. And these are behaviors, and they're behaviors that you can control, and think about them in every one of your relationships with people you love, people you know, people you work with, and with the animals that live with you, with your pets. And he talked about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. The first is criticism, when you see people criticizing each other, and when you are criticizing. These are the 4 horsemen that spell death. The second is contempt. So contempt, insults, name calling, hostile humor, mockery and body language, sneering, rolling the eyes, curling the lip. You're really a self-centered asshole. You do whatever you want to do without regard for anyone else. That's contempt. The third, and people can forget criticism. That goes away pretty easily if you correct it. But contempt tends to linger a lot longer. Whew, really dangerous. The third horseman is defensiveness. The response is, it wasn't my fault that I didn't call you. I wasn't near a phone. Yeah. Because what they do is they obstruct communication. And then the fourth horseman is stonewalling, where you just don't even respond, where you ignore the other person. So what I want to do is give you a formula that you can use that I found. I learned this way back in the 70s, and it's called the SAD. I call it the SAD technique for dealing with insults or injuries from a person who comments, says something, gets angry with you, attacks you, or whatever. And if you find yourself feeling upset emotionally, you feel angry or sad or resentful or insulted or disappointed, lonely, whatever it might be. Okay, now the ball's in your court. How are you going to respond to that? It happens in all of our lives. Well, the three dysfunctional ways of responding to it, the SAD. The S in the SAD approach is for sullen silence. That's the silent treatment. That's like the cold shoulder when you shun someone. That's a really painful thing to do. There are a lot of religious cults that if you don't exactly follow religious, or should I say religious and political cults, that if you don't follow the rules exactly, if you don't do what everyone wants you to do, then they shun you. You become a non-person. All the other members of the cult or the organization are not even allowed to talk to you. You can't go to dinner with them anymore. They don't write to you. You're shunned. That's probably the most painful thing you can do to someone, is to give them the cold shoulder. It's punitive, and that works against your relationship. It's like saying, I'm going to punish you if you don't do what I want to do. So it does not improve communication. You have pain, and now you created pain in them. In fact, in tribes in Africa, they used to punish by shunning, and people would live maybe a week or two after they were shunned, and then they would just curl up and die. That's how important relationship is in the small tribe. The A is anger or attack. So you get angry with them, says, look what you did. Boy, you really laid it on me there. You should be ashamed of yourself for what you did. Or I'm going to get you. Or, yeah, you're going to pull that? I'll shoot me, whatever it might be. Blame is one way. Subtle forms of blame, judgment, criticism, shaming. You should have done this, and so forth. Well, when you attack someone who loves you or cares about you, they're likely to feel hurt. And then they will react with defensiveness, in which they're not hearing your feelings, they're only defending their behavior. That doesn't make you get closer. Anger, they'll attack you back. That doesn't make you closer. Anger and counterattack. Or they shut down or withdraw or simply placate you. Yes, you're right. Okay. All right. Okay. You have not improved your relationship because there's no conversation about your feelings. The third part of SAD is denial, sometimes called the Uncle Tom approach. And that's the placating approach. It's okay that you smashed up the fender in my car. It's sort of an old car anyway. I'm thinking about replacing it. No, it's okay that you didn't invite me to the party. I had some other things to do that night, but inside, it's not okay. You feel hurt, abandoned, insulted, devastated, furious, but now you put on a happy face like a Band-Aid over it. And you may do that consciously or unconsciously, but you are not communicating to the other person what's going on for you. And not only that, they may assume that what they did really is all right. After all, if you didn't like it, you would have said something, right? Yeah. And thus we drift apart. Okay, so those are the three main ways, and that pretty much encompasses most of the ways that we destroy ourselves in a relationship. Okay, so here's the 5 steps that we go through. The first thing you do is nothing. You stop when you feel something went wrong. Oh, you got left at the bus stop, or a person didn't show up for dinner. Oh, stop. Focus your awareness within. Discover what you feel and feel it. Never run away from your feelings. Your feelings are messengers. They're trying to communicate to you, and they're important to communicate to that person with whom you want to have a close relationship. So find a word that describes your emotion, for instance, sadness or fear, or hurt, helpless, confused, tense, lonely. You're feeling, and make sure it's a pure feeling. It's not like, I feel like you're a jerk. It's not a feeling. It's not a feeling. And it's even okay to say, yeah, that some anger came up, but go beyond the anger, because anger is not your primary emotion. You don't get a kick out of feeling anger. It's not helping you. But when you feel hurt, you may defend yourself by going into anger, basically, because it feels a lot better to be angry. Oh, I was so pissed off. Oh, you should have seen me. I was furious. That's not to say I really felt hurt. It's that deeper feeling that you need, the sadness, the loss, the loneliness. Step 2 is that you want to communicate with your partner in this communication, whoever it might be. So you want to identify what happened in the real world that triggered that feeling. And you need to express that. That's the first part of your communication to the person. And what you'll say is, when you didn't show up for dinner, or when you called me those names, or when you told Sam that I was no good, or when you chose to not have me on your team, or where you didn't want to respond when I invited you to whatever. That's the first part. When it happened, and this is something there's no confusion about, the other person's going to know exactly what you're talking about. When you did that, then the second part is, I felt. And then you sincerely share what your feeling is with the person. Now, you're not doing any blaming. You're not attacking. If people become defensive right away, understand that that is a defense because they think you're attacking them. And you can say, well, can you hold on for a moment? I want you to know that I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about what my feelings are. I'm not blaming. I'm not saying it's your fault, but this is what I felt, right? And you say, this is what I felt. And when you did so-and-so, when so-and-so happened, or when that, when the money didn't arrive, I felt. And when you share your feelings in this way, that tends to disarm people, and they're open. And so that would be that third step, is telling the person what you felt. Now remember, your feelings are your responsibility. Nobody makes you feel. Nobody makes me feel anything. My feelings are my reaction. Why do I react with feeling? Because of how I thought about it. Yeah. So if I'm saying that when you didn't show up, I felt very sad, and then the next step is to say, because I thought that you didn't care about me. I thought that maybe you weren't as happy about going to the show as I am. Or I felt by that you were saying that you didn't like my brother, or whatever it is. Figure out what it is in your head that triggered the sadness or the fear. When you didn't show up, or when you said that, I felt fear because I really care about our relationship. And in my mind, I thought that maybe you wanted to break up, or you didn't want to be close with me anymore, or that you didn't like the music that I played when we played with each other. And still, you haven't said anything about the other person, except that what your thoughts were that triggered your feelings. But you're not saying they're true. Huh? And so what you want to say you're sharing that with them. So now they know what happened, they know how you felt, and they know what you thought was going on. And the next thing that you say to that person, to the other person, is, this is an important step, and I'm wondering if that's true. So you're saying, is it true that you don't like me? Is it true that you don't like my music? Is it true that you don't want to be a member of the team? Because that's how it felt. That's how I felt, as if that were true when you did so and so and so on. So now you're offering them an opportunity to respond to it. Ideally, the response is, I'm really sorry that you feel bad. I'm sorry that I said something that hurt you. Show compassion and empathy for the other person first. And wait a beat, and then say, I can understand how you might feel that way. However, that was not at all what was going on in my mind. And the real reason is, and then the other person gets a chance to tell you honestly, or to say, you're exactly right. I didn't know how to say it, and I should have said it, but I really didn't enjoy our playing music together. And that's true. And that's why I'm really sorry that you feel that way. I'm sorry it didn't work out, but we can still go riding together. We can still work together, or whatever it might be. And so there's an opportunity to connect. Well, this little formula has saved so many relations. The person gets really angry when you say it to them, even though you've been very gentle, and you can apply the same thing again. When I shared my feelings with you a few moments ago, and you got angry, then I felt very sad. I felt really alone. And I wonder if you were angry with me because you didn't really hear what I said, or if you really don't, or I thought maybe you really don't care about the feelings I shared with you. And I'm wondering, is that true? So you can use it again and again, of course, not word for word every time, but again, the goal is to be able to share what you feel with that person with whom you want to have a close and loving relationship. If this is way different from how your communication is all the time, it may really baffle people, but you can always let them know, what I'm trying to do is to be more loving in my communications, and this is the way I'm trying to do it, by sharing my feelings and asking to hear what your feelings are, and by sharing my thoughts and asking what your thoughts are. So I hope that's been useful to you. So let's close with a little brief meditation, and maybe think about some ways that you may be able to apply these tools in your life. Again, let your body be in a comfortable position. And take 2 deep breaths in and let them out. And each time, feel that you're letting go any tension in your body, breathing out any unnecessary thoughts in your mind. Allow your eyelids to close. And allow yourself to travel to your special place inside. Special place, far away from anything that could disturb you. Giving yourself permission to relax. That's it. Imagine beautiful colors, shapes, and sounds all around you. Each breath emptying your mind of unnecessary thoughts. allowing yourself to be at peace. And once again, go to that deep place within where you feel your love. Go right to that place where you feel the love of life, the love of those in your life that you love and have loved. Feel the little spark that starts each new breath, like a golden river of love flowing into your heart and through your body, surrounded by a warm glow of love that protects you. And imagine you can carry it with you everywhere you go in the world, and that the surface of this little cocoon is polished smooth, and it reflects all negative energy. But it lets in love, and it allows you to express love. And imagine yourself sharing love with someone in your life. And if there's a person with whom you sometimes have disagreements, notice the feeling that comes up inside you. Imagine that now, when you felt hurt or insulted by this person. And imagine yourself simply saying, when you said X or when you did Y, I felt, and then you express your feeling. And thirdly, you tell the person what your imagination was that triggered that feeling. Thought maybe you didn't care or felt like you wanted to hurt me. Whatever the honest thinking you had. And then finally, you say to them, is that true or was it something else? Would you share what was going on for you at the time that you did what you did or said what you said? And feel yourself being wide open, so filled with love that you don't react to anger or attack or defensiveness. And imagine your relationship becoming closer because of what you've done. Good. And take a deep breath in as you let it out. Just allow yourself return to being wide awake, feeling comfortable and clear. Okay. All right. Here's some follow-up material that may be useful and interesting to you. The DVDs, Heal Your Relationship. That's a 2 DVD program. Then there's the audio programs, Loving Communication, and Sexual Intimacy. And all are kind of based around the same themes and the same ideas. It's all in my voice, and there's meditations as well as heart-to-heart talks in all of them. And you can find it by going to shopdrmiller.com, shop.drmiller.com. And then in the upper right-hand corner there is where you can simply write in the title that you're looking for. You can write in the subject that you're looking for. And then The search engine isn't all that great, so it'll probably give you back a whole bunch of things. Maybe instead of 1 or 2, you'll get 7 or 8. Just look down all of them and you'll probably find what you want there. Many, many products. And in 2 weeks is our next free webinar, which is the magic of forgiveness. That's on Thursday, March 11th or 11 a.m. Pacific time. And as always, you can share this program today with your friends, or you can watch it again. Usually takes about a day or 2 before it gets up online, but you can find it at drmiller.com/life meditations. Good. So I look forward to seeing you then in 2 weeks. Take care of yourself and stay safe. And by all means, stay loving.
If you enjoyed this video and found its information helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe to Dr. Miller's YouTube channel. Doing this will help to get Dr. Miller's content to more and more people. If you'd like to watch the entire webinar series, you can do so at drmiller.com/life meditations. That's drmiller.com/life meditations. Be present, be kind, and be well.